Hey everyone, your host Nick here, and you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. First, I want to remind you that we are a fully independent podcast, quite literally just a group of friends who have met once a week since 2008 to talk about video games. If you like our show, the best thing you can do for us is be active in our community. I recommend Discord. You can subscribe to our show, leave us a review on your preferred podcast service, or, if you're so inclined, bless us with your patronage on Patreon or Twitch. If you're new, all you need to know is this. We record these shows live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central on Twitch, and the audio version launches on all podcast services on Friday morning. Patreon and Twitch supporters will even get the show a day early on Thursdays. But if you want to know more about any of this, about what we do, or find all the important links you need, simply visit us at 4playernetwork.com. And that's it. This is the only ad you'll ever hear on this show. So, with that said, thank you for listening. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 792. It is April 30th, 2024. I'm your host, Nick Henderson. I'm joined tonight by Brad Simons.
Hello, it's going to be a great show tonight, guys. And by great, I mean short and bad and disorganized.
Okay, well...
I'm just kidding. It's going to be great.
Well, I'm about to say most of those are I would say are accurate. Maybe not the bad part. I think we got a great show in line for you, but it is going to be very disorganized. Speaking of which, Chris Davis is here.
I'm also here. Good evening.
We got a three-person show tonight, but we got stuff to talk about, including Stellar Blade and deeper dives into Eiyuden Chronicles. Other than that, we're just gonna kind of go with the flow and see what happens tonight. I feel like we're kind of.
I feel like you say that, but I feel like we're still going to kind of follow our formula. Unless you want me to take it wildly off topic. I could just pull up
Sure.
You know. Do
I
we have
challenge
news?
you.
Are we going to talk about news?
Brad?
This is what I saw? You know what I saw?
God.
Yeah, open critic?
You're like a fucking... I can't even... Oh my God. This is so bad.
What? Don't make me call David. I'll get David on here, and we'll really take this shit out of control.
What you just did was way worse than David. You just barreled through the introduction, and no matter how many times I tried to stop you, you just kept talking.
Wait, but you told me to take the wheel. Isn't that what you said?
Right.
No, he did not say that.
That's not exactly what I said, but I'll go ahead and say it now. Brad, Jesus, take the wheel.
Well, I mean, you said it was going to be disorganized, and self-fulfilling prophecy. I got to make it disorganized.
I know it's disorganized though, because you just asked me, "Do we have any news?" I was like, "Do I look like I have news prepared for this podcast?" No.
Oh, I don't know.
What I was going to say is that I feel like we're kind of right on the cusp of a really big month for gaming, for the gaming industry, because May is absolutely I mean, yeah, but let's be real. Us is who I care about, right? This is our show, so of course, like, it's going to be a big month for us. We're going to be playing and talking about a lot of stuff. It's true, and not to mention, not only is it a big month for like releases, there's also going to be a lot of news coming out in May. I think May and June. Now that E3 is dead, I think a lot of that stuff is going to kind of like spread out a little bit, but it's going to like seep in more into May. So I think May and June are going to be pretty heavy when it comes to flow of gaming news. So that's exciting. But right now we're kind of nobody wants to announce anything right now. Nobody wants to say anything because that's what next month and that's what June primarily is obviously for. So
the big names don't want to announce any stuff for that. The little stuff, the indies are getting their stuff out of the way right now.
Yeah, you say getting it out of the way. There was an indie thing yesterday. So again, if you missed our show last week, we started doing a trailer talk live as a group before the podcast, so it's kind of like a unofficial pre-show, and we did it tonight as well. So it's been a lot of fun. We're gonna try and do that every week from about 8 to 8:30 before we actually sit down to record. We went a little bit longer tonight because it's only three of us, a little bit of a shorter show. So but it was fun. It was a good time, and we're gonna keep doing this. So if you're interested in tuning in, watching some of the latest game trailers and just hearing us talk about them casually before we start the show, make sure you're here by 8 p.m. Central Time on twitch.tv/4playerpodcast or on our YouTube channel, because we now stream simultaneously on both. So, and I think we're also talking about maybe opening a thread in Discord where people can submit trailers, even old trailers that they want us to talk about. Like we watched a trailer tonight for Spec Ops: The Line, Fallout 3, Shadow of the Colossus, just to name a few. And of course, we're also watching new stuff. So, exciting times. If you wanna catch that live, make sure you're here 8 p.m. Central every Tuesday night. But yeah, now I'm going to say, Brad, take the wheel.
That's not how this works, Nick. That's not how this works. You made this all nice and organized, and you got a little intro. Look at me. I'm the greatest podcast host there ever was. And you can't just hand the wheel over to someone. That's not chaos. I thought this was supposed to be disorganized. This is all pleasant and organized, and like you're like a seasoned podcast host now. I was trying to add a little bit of chaos, and y'all chaos shamed me.
We're 800 episodes deep in this podcast, and this is the episode where you were like, "Oh my god, he's seasoned now."
I thought I was taking the wheel. That's all. And now I can't be handed a wheel. I don't know.
Technology in chat says, "Take it away, your host, Brad."
No, it's not how this works. I'm done. Let's talk about video games.
All hail chaos, says chat.
Y'all watch anything? Y'all watch anything good?
I feel like, what have I watched? Yes.
Fallout.
Fuck. Oh my god. Yeah, I finished Fallout.
We two shows in a row. What else you got?
Well, okay.
We didn't talk about Fallout last week.
Yeah,
Okay, so here's what I watched. And this is because a coworker wanted to talk to me about it, and she was like, "You need to watch this because I want to talk to somebody about it." And I was like, "I have been." It's like one of those movies that has been on my back burner, and I was like, "I'm not in no rush to watch it, but someday I'll watch it." I watched The Nun 2 this past weekend. I know.
Oh.
Random, weird.
Interesting.
Like I said, she wanted to have a conversation with me about it, and I was like, "Don't tell me what happens," because
she wanted to subject you to The Nun 2.
I know that movie's not good, but I still don't. If I'm going to watch it, I don't want you to spoil it for me before I watch it.
King Carrie in chat says that is Whoopi Goldberg's finest. Which I'm more of a Nun 1 kind of person, but Nun 2 does have that cool rap song at the end.
Yeah. No, you know what I will say? Because I actually am. I quite enjoy the Conjuring films, most of them.
Yeah.
Especially like the core, like the main movies, right? Whatever, right? I think they're pretty damn good as far as horror movies go. The Nun, which is a character that they introduced in The Conjuring 2, was one of the scariest fucking things I had ever seen. It scared the living shit out of me. It was
unfortunately horror sucks when you start to explain it and make it all like, lore, connected, horror cinematic universe is like an oxymoron.
Well, yeah, it's true, but here's the I don't think this runs into this issue. Like, I don't think the problem with the Nun films is the fact that they gave it backstory. What they did there starts out fine for the most part and is effective, but at the end of both of these movies, they turn this entity, this creature, this ghost that is utterly terrifying for most of the film into what amounts to like a Ghostbusters ghost, like straight up, like fully like out in the open, and like looks like it's like bright and it's comical.
Awful.
It's like but they get it right for the first like 75% of the movie, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, I'm watching a Ghostbusters movie. It's fucking weird.
It's bad. Let's talk about Oz Perkins.
Oh, I watched Civil War.
Oh, how was
that?
Good.
Well, okay. What was that reaction, Chris Davis?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
No. Chris Davis's reaction was weird.
My reaction is like that because I don't know. I don't like the ambiguity of that film in
Did you watch
the climate that we're in.
But have you watched it?
I don't like having that stress on my mind.
Here's the thing. I was nervous about watching it because
there's
I was
ambiguity,
nervous.
Like in the politics. What is he talking about? I haven't.
From my understanding, they don't actually outline why the war happens.
They do not tell you.
But you're saying two different things. Ambiguity in the politics versus explaining why the war happened.
It sounds like you would be more stressed out if they told you why it happened and it mirrored reality. That sounds like what you're worried about.
I just don't like our current political climate. I don't like just the idea of this film coming out now.
Well, here's the thing. the whole like
what is our current political? Because
he's talking about the Trumpism of America, and that's why, and what that whole thing is doing to America, which is a whole other conversation we're obviously not going to have here because that's not what we're here to talk about. But
Yeah.
I feel the same way you do, Chris Davis. This shit terrifies the shit out of me. But like, you don't make you make movies like this because they are relevant. Like, if you release a movie like this at a time when like this political climate doesn't exist, it just becomes a movie that doesn't like resonate. But
was it good?
yeah, no, I thought it was excellent. I think it might be my favorite Alex Garland movie, maybe, but I'm hesitant to say that because Annihilation is really fucking good.
Annihilation and Ex Machina, really?
And Ex Machina are really fucking good. But I'm saying this is up there. I
Really?
really enjoyed it.
I heard this was about journalism, I think.
It's told through the perspective of a group of photojournalists who are traveling across the country to try to interview the president, who is now the only thing they really allude to in the film that gives you any kind of indication of what is happening, is what is going on, is they say very offhandedly that like the president who is now in his third term. So like they're trying to get across the country and they're cutting through a civil war zone to try to interview the president who has not gone on record with a journalist in like most of his presidency. And they're trying to like corner him and get him to talk about the war that's going on, but they're all photojournalists, so it's all from the perspective of people who like visit actual war zones and take photos, and now they're doing it in their own country. I think it's a really interesting perspective and one that's kind of unexpected. But yeah.
So Alex Garland, you like Ex Machina and Annihilation and Civil War, and
he did Men too, didn't he?
You ever seen the show Devs?
No, so the bartender at the Draft House, we were talking to him before we went into the movie, and he was like, "You need to watch Devs," because we started talking about Civil War.
But you would say your top three might be those three movies I mentioned.
Yeah, he also did Men too, didn't he?
Okay, I didn't watch that.
That one's fucking weird.
Just
so you would say those are your favorite? Right? Yeah, he wrote 28 Days Later. Would you say those are your favorite?
What do you mean? Which one? What are you asking?
Alex Garland things?
I mean, those are the ones that come to mind. I suppose.
They're your favorite.
Yeah.
They're your favorite. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that the script for DMC Devil May Cry is not in your top 5. Did he contribute
to that?
It says he's the writer of DMC Devil May Cry.
Hey, I liked it. I like DMC Devil May Cry.
I like that game.
That's random.
Yeah. He wrote Sunshine. I like Sunshine.
I like Sunshine.
He wrote Enslaved Odyssey to the West, which is actually good.
Oh, okay.
Unlike DMC Devil May Cry.
Hey, you shut your mouth.
No, I mean, look, Enslaved is actually a good story. DMC Devil May Cry is fine. It's a fun game. It's fine. I don't think it's winning any storytelling awards, though. Come on. Come on.
I never got around to seeing Annihilation, but I only heard good things about it.
Oh, that's a great movie. That's a great movie.
You should watch
Annihilation.
Although I found out,
let's move on.
Well, I didn't know I did know this already, but I was reminded this past week that Annihilation is the first of a trilogy of books, and they obviously have not adapted the second and the third book into a movie, and I don't know if they're going to at this point.
I don't. Please don't.
But I went and did some research, and apparently the second and third book are nowhere near as well received as that first one.
Good. I don't think they should touch it. Sometimes a good book is turned into a great movie, and you can just leave it at that. You don't have to make more bad, mediocre, movies.
I don't disagree with you there. I'm just stating facts that I learned for the first time this week.
Especially given like that movie and how it ends and stuff. I really don't want more Annihilation. Just leave it alone, please, God, please.
I don't think they have any intention of doing that.
Well, my entertainment over the next couple weeks arrived today.
I got mine. I got my
copy. Buy that? Did you buy that?
Yeah.
How much did that cost you?
$40.
Yeah.
$40, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
I thought you were on a budget, Mr. House Builder.
I bought it 6 months ago.
But you didn't get charged for it 6 months ago.
Yeah, and it went on my Amazon card. It's fine.
Okay. We just throwing credit cards around now. I see.
Show me the financials, damn it.
Yeah.
I got my credit score the other day. I'm in the 800s. I'm proud of myself.
Okay. Good job, man. You're an adult. Yeah.
What is this really a video game podcast? Because I don't feel like it.
You want to talk about video games? We can talk about video games.
You told me to take the wheel.
Yeah, no, you keep going, Brad. Keep going.
I actually don't know what y'all's favorite candy bars are.
I don't like candy bars.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't like chocolate,
Answer
dude.
the question. Okay, so give me your favorite fruity candy or something, you child.
I mean, I know. Wait, that's not a candy bar, though.
Okay. Just
I mean, I was gonna say, like, to answer your question, it was gonna be the whatchamacallit.
Oh wow!
What?
I assumed you would have been the Charleston Chew or the Necco wafers.
I've had Charleston Chew, and that's not bad, but I like whatchamacallits.
The root beer barrels.
No, that's you.
No, I can eat. I mean, my favorite candy. If you look at like just the pure volume of candy that I eat, I would say by a long shot, it would be Haribo, just like straight up Haribo gummy bears. I eat those by the truckload. But my favorite candy is probably specifically the blue raspberry sour punch straws.
Really?
Yes, only blue raspberry. I won't touch the other one.
So talk to me about the candy bar. You brush those aside pretty quick, but you've never had
chocolate.
One that you enjoy?
It's easy.
Yeah, he doesn't like chocolate, so that's 3/4 of all candy bars.
So is this like you don't like milk chocolate, dark chocolate, any chocolate? Have you ever had chocolate?
He's talked about this in the past.
Chocolate, but I think this one's really good.
No, listen. I've told this story before.
How'd you feel when you bit into a Cadbury egg? What were the feelings going through? No,
I wanted to. Okay, listen. There is a few. I've been slowly coming around on some chocolate, but it's usually like. So there's some brownie mix that I've found recently that you can buy at the grocery store that is like it's like caramel and has like I think it has like
drop a link in
chat.
Something. Drop a link in chat. Come on,
I'll find it.
We'll
I love that. I can eat that like crazy.
Get inside your mouth.
And like if I'm at like a fancy restaurant or something and they serve like a dessert with chocolate on it, that's pretty damn good. But I've never taken a wrapper off of a chocolate. I've never like unwrapped a chocolate piece of candy and eaten it and felt like I didn't.
So if it's prepared for you by a chef or a baker, you'll eat it.
Probably.
But you don't want to eat poor people chocolate, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yes, that's fact. Correct.
I get okay.
Meh.
All right. No chocolate for you. Okay. What about you, Chris? Oh, yeah, you already answered, Chris Davis. You like Necco wafers and various spiced gumdrops and maybe some licorice?
A whatchamacallit or a Snickers bar. That's fine.
Brad
for a
has
candy
a pretty.
Bar for me.
Brad has like an encyclopedia like knowledge.
How do you know
like
these
things?
Original.
Well,
everyone likes Werther's original.
Oh, you do like a Werther's original, huh?
Everyone likes Werther's original.
No,
you like you have a nice little
it's butterscotch caramel
dish of after dinner mints next to you.
No, I've just got my coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you want to hear some weird candy shit that I love Kookaburra licorice.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Kookaburra licorice.
Yo, drop a link in chat. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Let's see this shit.
Never heard of Kookaburra?
Kookaburra licorice?
You're making words up.
It's Australian licorice. It's named after the Kookaburra bird.
Okay, I don't know if I want you to post a link to the candy or a picture of the bird more.
I'm pasting in chat. Look, that's the link to their main website.
The fact that you even like licorice is insane. Of course you love licorice.
What are you trying to say there?
This does not look good.
This just looks like your average fucking nasty licorice. Well, the funkier the better. You like a good.
Why do you scroll down to the bottom and I see long ball licorice and it has like a baseball player on the package? And one, it looks like it's in
that's fucking Babe Ruth. You just
no. Listen. But it looks like it's in a condom wrapper, and two, like
long ball. He likes to play long ball. That black licorice, apparently.
I'm going to assume that's modeled after like classic 1920s and 30s bags of tobacco.
It's somehow giving me condom wrapper and it's also making me think of like chewing tobacco for some reason.
What is wrong? Look, the only kind I get is the red licorice. Okay.
You don't fuck with
also,
black licorice? You're more
No.
just
Oh
red
my god,
licorice
black
guy?
licorice is fucking disgusting.
Oh, okay.
Imagine breaking off like a salt lick and just shoving that in your mouth. That's what black licorice is. No.
A salt lick?
Yeah.
Licorice isn't salty unless it's from Sweden. And covered in
Bro.
salt.
Bro.
We've eaten it on the podcast before. We've eaten salted licorice, but not all black licorice is salted.
You probably ate it on the podcast before. I definitely did not.
Well, that's because you're not a team player. I mean,
well,
if you're one of us,
I
you'll take
actually
a bite.
care about my taste buds. I like tasting good things.
Werther's original.
Where are we going from here?
Stellar
Brad.
Blade, of course. Oh wait, okay. Let's set up Stellar Blade.
Okay, here's my question:
Is Sweet Baby Ink involved in this one, Nick?
I don't know what that means.
So you're saying you like it?
What are you talking about? What is this?
Nothing,
Listen.
Stellar Blade, go.
Listen, I'm a little like I wanted to talk about this, right? And I got it last Friday, and I was gonna I'm gonna play this all weekend and be ready to talk about it on the podcast. And then I decided once again, like, man, again, the only way I'm gonna finish stuff is if I just like fucking hunker down and I finish something. So I barreled through Dragon's Dogma 2 over the weekend, finished that game. So I only got to spend about a day worth of gameplay time with this game, which only amounts to like 3.5, 4 hours. And we watched the trailer for this prior to the show tonight, and during trailer talk, and I was like, man, I haven't seen any of this footage. I haven't met any of these characters they're showing here. So like now I'm questioning whether I should be talking about it. But look, I streamed it last night, and I got through what was the demo, and a little bit far and beyond that. So I have maybe a little bit better idea of what's going on here with this game. But again, I'm still very early, and this game is a lot meatier than I think I was expecting to. So
fleshier?
It's fleshier. I have a long way to go in Stellar Blade. But I guess what I can say about this game so far, and something that I don't even know if I really kind of felt when I was playing the demo, but I definitely feel it now, is I think a lot of people are going to go into this game with, I mean, a lot of the talk about this game prior is for obvious reasons. It's very titillating, right? It's very it's kind of egregious, and it's titillation, if you will.
Egregious in its jiggliness.
Lots of jiggliness and stuff, and I even hear maybe there's some controversy around it now, but I can't really comment on that because I don't even know what's going on.
Yes.
Well, not the weird, stupid Gamergate 2.0 bullshit, which is
it's all wrapped up in that. Let's be real.
There's something about people, this company being laid off for being feminists or something. I don't.
People at the company, shitty studio culture. I think
shitty studio culture aside, because I can't really comment on that. I don't know what's going on there.
There's a more recent thing about the hard R unfortunately placed the hard R graffiti, or conveniently placed graffiti, which was removed from the game, and now all the people who, let me tell you, really only hate censorship, all censorship they are upset about, not just weird censorship that happens to be extremely offensive. They're upset. And there's like a GoFundMe or something.
Those fucking weirdos.
I saw a video clip of whatever. They just want attention, idiots.
So I don't want to talk about that stuff, obviously, but now that I've spent some more time with this game, and I've gotten past kind of the surface level a little bit, I'm surprised to find that there's actually a pretty competent character action game underneath all that stuff.
Or is it a Souls-like? That's the other controversy. Is it character action or is it Souls-like?
Well, here's the thing. It's character action. It actually is kind of in between, because it goes as far as like when you stop somewhere and save, all the enemies respawn. But when you die, you don't drop your experience points and have to go back and like collect them by killing an enemy. Like it's got kind of like half the things that make Dark or a Souls game, and the other half is just pure character action. So it's pointless to kind of compare them that way anyways. But now that I've kind of like started messing around with like actually like getting into some tough battles, because there are some tough battles in this game. I actually spent last night. I spent like 45 minutes on one boss fight, and
Are
but
there
it's like
difficulty options?
yes,
I mean,
and
you were
yeah,
getting your
there
ass kicked
is.
fighting standard enemies.
Okay, well, see,
Because look,
here's and
well, so that's what makes it a Souls-like. I think. I think it's the more like deliberate punishing combat that kind of
well,
makes
no,
it
no, no, no.
Soulsy, right?
Here's where I feel like why I kind of draw a distinction here is because as good as this game actually feels, and as fun I think as it is to play, because it is, um, the things that are frustrating to me, the reasons like I feel like I'm dying a lot, and is not because I'm not doing well, like I'm not playing, like I'm not timing things right. There are times when I'm hitting buttons and shit is just not happening because an animation
Mm.
is still playing out. Because it's very
Oh.
like this, they went hard on the animations in this game. Like the opening set, if you've played the demo, you've seen the opening cinematic. There's a lot of story happening in this game, and as weird and kind of outlandish and kind of whatever as some of that stuff is, it's like it looks really good, and like you get a lot of that flash in the combat. But there's been times where it's like I've I'm doing a combo, and then it suddenly triggers this like really cool fancy like flippy, and she's doing all kinds of cool attacks and stuff, but the enemy is still like winding back to try to do an attack. So I'm like he's about to hit me and interrupt me, so I'm trying to cancel that animation so I can do like a dodge or a parry, and because that animation's still playing out, it's just unresponsive, and then I take a hit.
So
So
Souls, right? Be like Dark Souls or
I
something,
mean,
right? Where
I feel like Dark Souls is
animation
responsive.
commitment.
Or
No, but it's not. It's not. I mean, Sekiro is right, but like
yeah, maybe
Dark
so.
Souls. I mean,
Yeah.
like committing to like your swings is what like a Souls game is all about, really.
But
And you know, I think
admittedly,
I
it
think
has been
I
a
think the
while since
distinction
I've.
between character action and that type of game is that a character action game is all about like player
You
control,
might be
right?
right. It's been a
Canceling out
while.
of everything anytime you want, you know?
It has been a while since I've played an actual like Dark Souls game. So I mean, I played Elden Ring. I never really got that feeling while I was playing Elden Ring, and it certainly doesn't feel that way in Sekiro because you can cancel out of anything in Sekiro. So maybe that's not as big of a deal as I'm making it sound. I don't know. And again, I want to stress that like when I'm in this game and I'm playing it and I'm in combat, like that boss fight was fucking cool. It was fucking cool. It's fast paced. There's shit flying everywhere. There's all kinds of like crazy attacks, and like when you do a perfect dodge, it does like the witch time from Bayonetta thing where it, like slows down time for a minute. And she like zooms at like out of range, and then you can do like a counter attack, which feels really nice. Parries feel really good when you land them, and there's skill trees that you can like pump points into that will make doing those things easier, or like widen the window for like hitting those things, which makes
Mm.
combat just feel more organic and stuff as you go. And I'm feeling that kind of ramping up, and I'm feeling like the combat is feeling better the more I play because of that. Um, so that's good. I just like, especially after that boss fight last night, I was like, one thing I didn't expect when I finally got this game in my hands was like, I did not think it was going to be as competent as it is with its action. Like you do have to you do have to think about your attacks, and you do have, like you said, you have to commit to those attacks for better or worse. And you know, you have to take your licks when you fuck shit up, and that's fine. And the skill trees are expansive. There's a lot of stuff to unlock. There's a lot of things you can do to like accentuate your outfit and your augmentations and your skills and stuff. It's like there's a lot going on in this game. I wasn't expecting any of that. I thought this was going to be more like Devil May Cry than anything, where it's pretty much just, you know, maybe change a weapon or something. And
Well, I mean, I feel like we're kind of burying the lead here, but I mean, really, what it's probably copying is near automata, right?
so I think there's definitely some near influences here. I think the combat in this game feels more complex. I mean, again, it's
But
also
I'm
been
not
a
even
while
talking
since I've
about like
played.
the combat. I'm talking about like structurally. The fact that it's more of an RPG than you probably
Yeah,
realize is probably because so is
yeah.
near automata, right?
Yeah, I definitely there is definitely some near influences there, and you're right. I think that might be the most prominent influence. and that again is not something I was expecting prior to actually playing the game. I mean, there's some obvious influences here. I think they're going like even like in the main character Eve. I think they're trying to create a like 2B type character. You know, like a character that's sexy and badass or whatever, and that's gonna like live on forever because people just can't stop obsessing over the character, which I feel like is how people received 2B. But like I thought the similarities were gonna kind of stop there, but like even the music in this game sounds
The
very
same composer. I
near.
think.
Is it the same composer?
I think maybe.
That somebody confirm that because that would make a lot of sense because I'm running around this world. It's kind of structured similar to Nier Automata as well, like in terms of like these bigger kind of hub areas that you can explore that are interconnected, but it's not like open world and it's not strictly linear either. But like it's co-composed.
Keiichi Okabe, who is the composer for Nier, evidently put around 40% of Stellar Blade soundtrack together.
Okay, yeah. So in Gonzo Lude says it's co-composed with that composer. So yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense because you can definitely hear it. Like you're running around this world that is structured very similarly to Nier Automata, and it sound like but the music is kind of like this like chill, like
chill beats to slash up flesh monsters too.
Yeah, it's definitely not going for like when you go into like big boss fights, suddenly it like sounds more like Devil May Cry or something, right? Where it's kind of like that fast-paced butt rock or whatever. But like when you're just running around the world fighting dudes, it's just like it's kind of fucking chill, and I'm here for it. And exploring the world is, you know, it's nothing like earth-shattering or like it's not gonna be like influencing games for years to come or anything. But like it is rewarding in the way that I want these kinds of games to be rewarding. Like you can branch off of the past, you can like find little secret pathways that will lead you to some cool loot that will help you upgrade your equipment.
You can find sexy outfits. That's the important part.
I have not unlocked any sexy outfits yet because I'm still, like I said, pretty early. Actually, I got my first one, but it's really just
I've seen some of the
palette swap.
I didn't realize there were so many outfits in this game. I was less interested until I found out just how much drip there is in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of drip.
I like dressing up my sex dolls or whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it quite like that.
It's weird because she's all like she's weirdly like titillating, right? If you want to call it that, all jiggly and stuff, and you know, strangely so.
Can I ask a legitimate question there? Like, are they
like when she shoots a gun, like the angle of the camera, her chest. I mean, it's absurd the way she aims a gun. Because
you should see her open. You should see her open like a chest. Like when you find like a chest and you open it, the camera doesn't do anything special, but like she's like struggling with the like opening the lid, and she's like putting all of her back into it, and she's like arching her back and like pushing her ass out. Like I'm like, oh my god, they even somehow managed to make opening chests titillating. I don't understand. Like, I mean, I do understand, but like, God, something about this feels so wrong.
It's like the God of War like equivalent, but for women, right? Where a man would just bash open the chest and take the loot, and a woman, you know, is struggling and sexy at the same time. Look, I like it. Nice, I feel outfit, but this is what makes it stupid is that it's ridiculous. It's that the character has no like awareness that this is going on, right? Like this is not a character that is, you know, it's not like a Bayonetta. Bayonetta is like a self-aware, sexy dominatrix lady who, you know.
Let me tell you the worst part.
This is just a person who just, you know, has no idea this is happening to her.
First of all, did you play the demo, Brad, by chance?
No, I didn't play.
Okay, so they established this in the demo because it's like the opening cutscene or whatever. She is actually in this world. This character is part of this like elite, like military like crew that's like hunting down this alien species. Sure. So like she is aware of what's happening. This is not just some person that's getting swept up into all this. Like she is trained for all that. It's, you know, but
no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying she's not aware that she's jiggling while she's doing it.
Yeah. But like
there's no like sexy self-awareness.
No. It is right. There is no self-awareness because every bit of titillation that you're seeing in this game is for the it's like it's for the player. It feels kind of gross. But like when the first time you ever see her, like her pod crashes on the beach and she's stuck in it and it's a first person, and then her friend like comes up and like pulls the door off and then like grabs your hand and pulls you out of the pod, and the camera like pulls back into the third person and you see this like super slow-mo shot of her like coming out of this escape pod and like whipping her hair back, and like it's insane. But it looks nice. But
I'd like to ask a legitimate question. Just scientific knowledge.
We only take illegitimate questions.
Objective question here. The costumes for this character, are they like in Spider-Man where they have special stats and special abilities, things like that? Or are they just cosmetic?
Okay, the suits themselves, as far as I know, because again, I'm only about 4 hours into the game at this point, and I've only unlocked one extra costume so far. And as Brad said, there are a lot. As far as I understand, the suits themselves are cosmetic, but throughout the game, you are unlocking things that you connect to them to that boost your stats and like can do so. There is that component to it, but the actual suit that you choose to put on your character for whatever reason doesn't. I don't think it changes your stats, but I could be wrong. I could be completely off.
No, that's good because I want to just wear cool stuff without
the dumbest thing.
I mean, let's be honest. It's not so different.
Look at this.
Spider-Man.
Look at this. Did you see it? It was for a hot second on the screen.
No.
The stupidest thing about this character's costume. Remember what I told you? She's like an elite military person or whatever, and I guess the suit is designed for that kind of thing. I guess I don't fucking know. It has a tie. It has like a necktie. What?
It's tactical.
What? No, there's no such thing as a tactical necktie. It serves no purpose.
Well, nothing she's wearing is tactical. Who cares about the tie?
She's wearing is tactical. Of course not.
Here's my question, right? Like, people love collecting outfits for Eve or whatever.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine.
Like, if people love collecting outfits for Spider-Man. My question for you is, do you think Spider-Man would be a better game if we could, like, see a lot of jiggly dick and balls under that suit? I mean, think about it, right? Jiggly dick and balls just flapping in the wind. Do you think that's enticing, titillating? Would you be into it?
I mean,
not my thing.
Me personally,
same Spider-Man game, delivering the same line, same story, but like jiggly dick and balls just flapping in the wind, not even moving.
I mean,
he's not moving, but his dick and balls are just.
Look, you're probably not going to get a teen rating if you do that.
Okay, which is dumb.
Okay,
but I'm also
better. Mature is better.
I'm equal. So, I'm all for equal opportunity titillation. Okay, like
dick as long and balls as jiggling.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Like you really get some nice,
if they really cared about what the player wants, right? So this game actually has a pretty extensive like list of settings that you can adjust. There is a setting in the game for ponytail length. I shortened her ponytail. I was like, if you can do that, you can maybe...
You shortened her ponytail?
Yeah, but here, I'm also a Bayonetta 2
you sexist
fan.
freak.
No, I'm a Bayonetta... I like the short haircuts, man. And also, the hair physics are like... Do you remember when you played Heavenly Sword for the first time and her fucking hair is just flying all over the place? And it's...
Yeah, the dumb hair physics are like part of the charm of this stupid game.
Nah, I found it too distracting, so
that's what you found distracting.
Yeah, it was the longer ponytail was getting in the way of me viewing.
Would Spider-Man's jiggly dick and balls be distracting for you, Nick?
Look, all I'm saying
is, would you be able to take Peter Parker seriously if his dick and balls were jiggling all over the place while he was talking to Mary Jane?
Look, for me, it's all about realism. Okay, if that's
Well, I mean, I don't think he's wearing like a lot of support under that suit. So, like,
I mean, I really hope he is. I really, really do hope he's at least wearing like a pretty solid cup.
Well, it needs in there. No cup. His balls and dick need to be jiggling for tactical reasons.
I mean, if that's, I don't know what you want me to say.
I don't know. How would you feel about it? I don't know.
I mean,
I'd be into
if
it. It'd be
sure,
titillating.
sure. I mean, not for me specifically, but I get it. That's like, what do you want from me? Anywho,
Video
we've
games
gone so
Resident
far.
ain't got a hold of
We've gotten so
Spider-Man. That's
far
what
off base.
happened.
I knew I should have known it'd be impossible to talk about this game for any length of time without
What?
getting too far into the
Look,
weeds
you've talked
here.
about it longer than you've played it. You were fine.
Video games are
seriously.
such a strong artistic medium. We need to take
On
seriously.
Well, we have been podcasting about it for a long time.
Quite serious. In all seriousness, despite the egregious titillation going on with this game, which I think there's a place for. Whatever. I think it's fine. But what matters here obviously is the gameplay, and that's pretty fucking solid. I'm really enjoying my time with this so far.
Okay.
I didn't expect this. I thought this might be one of those games like, oh, I'll just kind of play it here and there, and who knows if I'll even finish it. This might become my like primary game for a little bit until I finish it. But
primary game.
Yeah.
But what was your primary game before?
Well, I finished Dragon's Dogma 2, and I have Rebirth going. I could be playing Rebirth right now, but I kind of want to keep playing Stellar Blade.
I thought it was Baldur's Gate.
Fuck.
Hey,
God.
Question.
I hate you
question
so
about
much.
About Stellar Blade. Do people just like this shit because of the graphics? And I don't mean like the jiggly parts of the graphics.
No.
I just mean like it's like, is this a pretty game? Like why is this getting like a 82 and then Rise of the Ronin's a 77? You know what I mean?
Okay, look.
I mean, like the combat in this definitely ain't as good as Rise of the Ronin. So like,
look,
what are people really talking about here?
I can't comment on that because I haven't played Rise of the Ronin yet. But here's I think this game looks good, but I also don't think it's like this. I don't as of yet. I don't necessarily think of it as like some technical powerhouse that's like the best looking game on the system either. Outside of like the character models and some of the cutscenes, like from the game
animations, right?
Yeah, good. The animations are good, but like everything around, like the window dressing, like the environments, I feel like are kind of muddy, and so far they're not like anything to write home about. So I don't know. But like it's also nothing. I could say the same thing about like some of the Devil May Cry games. You know what I mean? Like. I don't know. I don't think I don't think people are just saying this is good because it looks nice. Because I really think in a lot of cases it doesn't.
No, people like Devil May Cry because it has like incredible combat, right?
And I think this
like
doesn't
crazy weapons and shit.
I wouldn't call this incredible yet, but I would call it fucking solid as hell. Maybe even great. I don't know yet. Maybe even great. Maybe not like stellar. It's not like Sekiro or Devil May Cry or Bayonetta.
Don't do it.
But like it's a reasonable, impressive attempt.
Chris Davis, didn't you say you were going to play Rise of the Ronin?
Eventually, yeah. When it came to PC.
What? PC? Don't you have a PS5?
Yes. It's also a $70 game that I don't want to play right now.
Oh, it's no Alone in the Dark.
Yeah, which is $30 cheaper.
Public shaming. Okay.
Oh, really? I didn't know Alone in the Dark was cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing about Stellar Blade, and I know this is probably the thing that's going to drive you the most crazy, Brad. This might be the thing that prevents you from ever playing this.
Oh, I already rented it.
Oh, you did? Oh, maybe I should just keep my mouth shut.
I just haven't started it. Oh, what were you about to say?
Well, there's one thing I know that's going to drive you fucking crazy, and it's rightfully so because it kind of drives me crazy.
The shininess of her outfit might carry me through, though. Let's be real.
You have to hold down R2 to collect experience after you. Yeah.
Is there any
which
settings
makes those. I didn't see one off bad, but I didn't dig. You will spend more time in the settings menu that I did. I'm sure. I went in there to find out where I can change her ponytail length, and I found
you can make it. You can turn a game from bad to good with the settings. I did it with Rise of the Ronin. I think if I didn't touch a setting in Rise of the Ronin, I would have not played that game.
Look, I turned on performance mode and shortened her ponytail, and I was happy.
You short, you basic bitch. Her hair's not even short. You just made it like it's not. It's just less cool now. It's less unique. It's just a bad ponytail instead of a crazy long ponytail.
It used to hang down to her fucking knees, man.
I know, and you just want to shave Bayonetta, take away all her hair powers, just have her smooth and hairless, huh?
Okay, no, I wouldn't go that far. You want
to wax Bayonetta's powers away, don't you? You sick fuck.
Absolutely not. But again,
what do you have against hairy women? That's my question.
I don't know. I'm a hairy man. I just.
Oh, so hairy men, you like your women bald?
What's happening right now?
I don't know.
Let's move on, shall we?
Stellar Blade's pretty cool.
Something else.
You want to shave Chris Davis's cats, you sicko?
Don't shave my pussies.
Oh my god! Did he go there?
Well, I mean,
Brad opened the door. I just walked through
it. He just kicked the door down.
All right, where are we going from here?
We're going to oh wait,
go to Brad's thing.
Chris made a bad decision.
Chris Davis made a bad decision apparently, and
I made a bad decision.
You have a habit of build up. This better be good.
Spoiler alert!
So
it wasn't.
I pulled out Star Ocean R to play it. I got it installed. It's all ready to go. It's right there. And I was like, okay.
Deleted it.
You know, while that's installing, what else can I get prepped on my computer?
What have you done?
I had Baldur's Gate 3 that I never deleted. Oh, well, it just got a patch recently. What if I played that? And so I started the campaign.
Your mistake is playing more Baldur's Gate 3. Brad's not going to shame you for that.
In fact, he's going to have replayed that game.
In fact, he's going to use that as fuel to fucking attack me.
That's true.
I mean, if I lap you, which is probably going to happen, yeah, sure.
You will 100% lap me. That's okay.
Well, I will say, so I'm near the end of Act 1. I've put in like 20 hours at this point.
Oh, wow. You really just started replaying.
Yeah. I'm in the Underdark right now, approaching Act 2.
Are you rolling with a different crew this time?
Kind of. My new character is a monk. I like that.
What about your party?
It's mainly right now it's Karlach, Shadowheart, and Lae'zel. I'm swapping out Lae'zel every now and then.
I had last time.
It was mainly Lae'zel, Shadowheart, and Gale.
And Karlach.
Gale.
You used Karlach last time.
I used Karlach later on in the game, not as much as I should have.
Is nobody your opportunity to use different cast members? What are you doing?
Is nobody else here the kind of person that like I'm gonna replay a game and I'm intentionally gonna make different decisions, and then you catch yourself like
no, like when it comes to like
make the same decisions.
Metagaming and stuff, you know, like I'll do that with like Final Fantasy Tactics. Like it's hard for me to like not try to optimize with like, you know, my progression and stuff, but like if I'm replaying like a BioWare game, I'm not gonna just roll with the same people every time. You know, that's weird. You want to see the other characters.
No, and I'm trying to get Will in there. I probably should get in Halsin, even though I'm not really interested in him.
Okay. What's more interesting to you, Halsin or Eiko?
Probably Halsin.
Don't be judging Halsin, okay? He's a fine character.
I'm sure he is.
You take Halsin to a brothel, you'll have a good time.
I don't have a connection with the previous Baldur's Gate characters. I'm just rolling with what I got. But I have been correcting a lot of things that I missed. Like I found the owlbear cub, and that was awesome. I found the dog, wait. So I've got a dog I can play fetch with in the camp.
You're listing stuff out. I have a bigger question. Are you like rolling evil? Or are you gonna get what's her face?
Minthara?
Jeez. Yeah, Minthara. You gonna get Minthara?
Kinda.
You're being a good guy again?
I'm being a good guy again, but
are you doing Dark Urge?
Here's the thing.
I'm being Dark Urge, and I still feel like I'm playing a good character.
I can't do that. I can't.
You're not doing Dark Urge either?
No. It's not me. Oh. So what I have been doing, however, is since I've already beaten the game legitimately, like I decided to install a bunch of Nexus mods So a lot of quality of life stuff. But I found one in which you can actually get Minthara without killing her and keeping the tieflings alive.
Can we be careful about spoilers
here? I think you can
too?
actually do that anyways. I think you could do that anyways.
No, you can't. Everything I've read says no.
No, but I think they later patched it in to where there's another way to save her.
If there is, I don't know. I was tempted to subclass and experiment there. I did install a mod that lets me do multiclass up to level 20. So I get to experiment more and try things out. So I'm going monk, and I think I might mix that in with maybe warlock. So I've got something at range. Haven't decided there yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with a good Eldritch Blast. That's for sure.
Yeah, doesn't hurt. But the monk is really fucking good. And I will say that I did install a double XP mod so I can get to max level within one playthrough. And it feels really good to be able to take out a lot of things.
It's weird that you're not doing Dark Urge.
No, it's not. It's not weird at all. That's not my character. That's not who I am.
So
no, I don't play the same video games. I don't.
But like Dark Urge is not necessarily evil. You're like possessed by something evil, but you can play a good character fighting the Dark Urge. In fact, I hear the most interesting playthrough of that game is the like paladin trying to resist the Dark Urge.
I feel like that's what I'm accidentally doing.
But like he fucking goes places.
I mean, just because I'm doing a good character doesn't mean I'm playing it the same way. Like I'm approaching different quest lines through different avenues. Like
basically a different storyline for the main character.
But also, like again, I missed out a lot on my first campaign. Like I didn't get.
You sprint through games.
Well, I didn't sprint. I played 130 hours of it. So like, but I didn't get Minsk. I didn't get
250 over here. To me, it's a sprint.
I didn't get Minsk. I didn't get what's her name at the end. The elf.
Oh my god! You didn't get.
I didn't get those characters
in Minsk.
No. Yeah.
It's just a shame you're not going to use them when you finally do.
Oh, I'm going to use them when I finally have them because I want to know what they're like. But like, I didn't get to try them the first time.
Minsk seems like very much up your alley.
Oh no, he seemed great when I got to him, and I was upset when I couldn't recruit him because I read everything was good.
You killed Minsk in your original playthrough?
I was forced to. There was nothing I could do about it.
Oh no. Okay, well now we're just spoiling shit for Nick, but he don't care. He don't give a shit about Baldur's Gate 3.
You shut your whore mouth.
Can we move on to my game? Can we move on to my game?
Please, God.
Sure.
Yay! I'm talking more about Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. I feel like I need to talk more about this game because, you know, big deal, Suikoden game. And I feel like last week I played probably 15 hours. And I feel like a lot of it was me kind of ranting about quality of life and me saying, you know, maybe this one's only for Suikoden fans. But I don't know. I played a lot more since then. This is my, what do you call it? My main squeeze, Nick? Main meat?
What?
It's definitely not your side chick.
You were saying Stellar Blade's going to be your main...
Like the main game, like the game that I'm focusing on. Like what? I didn't have some clever name.
You gave it a weird name, like your main
I said main
flesh.
Game.
Your favorite flesh or something. You said something weird.
No, you're confusing two different conversations we had earlier in the show.
Well, I'm continuing to play Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes because I've discovered, and now I'm almost like 40 hours in. Granted, I play these games. I play every video game really slowly because my brain is bad. But now I'm almost 40 hours in, and I have discovered that I really like Suikoden. That's like the main takeaway here. Really like
just
Suikoden.
Discovered this?
Wait, something. What? That doesn't check out.
Yeah, the math isn't that up, man.
So it reminded me of like almost every Suikoden game starts really slow. Like they start really slow and kind of like not special. And it really does take a while. And almost every Suikoden game to get to the point where it's like, oh, this is the game. This is what makes this series
Is this
unique.
new footage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Footage, I think. Yeah. I mean,
I can't.
I think I'm still running around my castle for a little bit. I'm actually looking for someone as I record this footage.
It actually had the same
Um,
starting point, but yeah, it's new footage.
That's why
yeah,
it seemed familiar.
just the start of kind of the main floor of the castle is probably why. And I'm trying to remember what I was saying last week, but
Suikodens have slow or
they have slow
unremarkable
starts,
starts.
but like they are really unique games. And I think before I was saying, well, this is for Suikoden fans, and if you've never played a Suikoden game, maybe just go play, the Suikoden games. And this one is expensive, but the truth is, I think this one is just it has all those same charms. I think if someone is gonna like Suikoden, they would probably like this as well. Even though I'd say like even after all this time, I still definitely don't think the music is anywhere as good as like it is in 1 and 2 and a lot of the series. It's good. Like there's some good tracks. I'm glad like the Castle Town theme is actually pretty good. It's no Glorious Island Fortress or anything, but it's good. But the truth is like that Suikoden formula is just a really really good formula, and like some of the improvements that I kind of listed out last week like go deeper, and I'm discovering a lot of the quality of life frustrations I had before when I first started the game are like there are solves for a lot of that stuff. um but like it's tied to like castle upgrades and town upgrades or like accessories and stuff, and once you start getting some of that, you're like, I get what they're doing here. Like it all ties to a really addictive loop, and that's sort of what I've discovered. I have found that this game is extremely addictive. I've stayed up super late because once you get going, once you get your castle, once the game opens up, and once you get your teleporter, every Suikoden game has a teleporter. It's usually Vicky, who's in all the Suikoden games. She's like a character who teleports you around the world. It's basically your fast travel character. You got to find that character. You got to recruit that character. And once you do, now you can go anywhere you want quickly, which means you can go back to all those. The thing about Suikoden is you have this castle, you're upgrading the castle, you're teleporting around the world, and you're looking for recruits for your army. They're all like games where you're trying to recruit these very large armies, and like these characters that are all really cool and weird and unique and funny and zany and have cool looks or cool abilities. Like there are so many characters I've recruited in this game so far, and I want all of them in my party, and I can only fit 6 people, and it's so frustrating because I'm like, oh, I finally have these cool characters that I like, my party's perfect, and then I'll run into another character and I'm like, oh my god, cool sexy ninja. Now I got to find room for this character, and I've spent a lot of time just like trying to compose like the perfect party because I am playing on hard and bosses and stuff are really difficult. So I need to be good in the game, but at the same time, I need characters that look fly, you know? And it's like a struggle, right? Because, my urge to min max versus my urge to have cool ladies is like at odds with each other. It really is. But yeah, the loop is so addictive, especially because, you get your teleporter, you fast travel around, it loads pretty quickly. The Suikoden games back then, they were like PS1 games, PS2 games. Those games had bad loading. Like, you know what I mean? Like now I'm getting around that world like
A
really
quarter
quick.
of your 100-hour gameplay was spent loading.
So like it's just a loop and everything feeds into each other really well, right? So you'll actually as you unlock characters for your castle, they have different roles, right? So I'll have a character who does like castle upgrades, and now I'll go to my castle upgrade menu and I'll say, you could unlock the accessory shop or somebody, or like the blacksmith, or like the smithing, so I can upgrade my weapons. But you have to but you don't have the resources and you don't have this character, and they show like a little silhouette of the character, kind of like who's that Pokemon, and you're like, okay. I gotta go find this person. And then you recruit like a fortune teller, and the fortune teller is a character who serves a purpose of like, she'll kind of like, you can like pay her and she'll give you hints and like more detailed silhouettes of these characters, of like where you might find them or how you might recruit them. So they'll give you a hint on where to find that character. Then you track that character down, do the little tiny side quest they need you to do or whatever, just talk to them. Now you've recruited them to your town, and now you have to build like they're part of the actual blacksmith for him to work in. But maybe to build that blacksmith, you need to track down some resources. But the game also does a good job of like telling you where to get these resources. So now running to this dungeon to like farm these resources so you can build this blacksmith now that you've recruited this character so you can upgrade your weapons. And oh boom, along the way you've met a whole new character who is either like a really important part of like your castle upgrading or just a really badass in combat. And it's cool, and they're zany characters. I met a dude. I was just walking through a dungeon trying to like find a resource for a side quest, and I just saw a dude in an early game area. I didn't necessarily miss them because sometimes these you have to travel around the world a lot, especially after you do like major story like moments and battles and stuff, because
Right.
characters will show up in places that you've been to before, like they're just wandering into town.
Gives you incentive to
kind of
backtrack or
yeah,
to
yeah.
explore areas.
It's essential, right? And again, it's really addictive because I gotta check this place, I gotta check this place, I gotta check this place. But I found him in a dungeon, and he's a really like buff dude who kind of sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And let me tell you, they're getting a lot of mileage out of the fact that like every line is voiced in the game, because now all these like weird small one-off characters, not even tied to like the main stories, are also getting like voiced. And I this really buff
Brad's wet
dude,
dream.
this buff dude who's
Wait, who voices Pocop?
He's not a voice character. He's just NPC.
Damn.
He's just like a little
Wow, but you
town
said
one-line
every
character.
character's voiced.
every major or every
every
party
like
character.
recruitable character, your 100+ characters.
All
Anyways,
100 heroes, if you
he
will.
gets into a fight, and he's like he's a mage. He's like a magic user, but he just hits things with his staff, and it's like he's not doing any magic. I'm like, what's up with this dude? And I'm talking to him, and he's like, oh, he's like a muscle guy. He's like, and he's like, oh, I got so much MP, muscle points. And I'm like, wait a minute, this
That's
dude
like
doesn't understand what a magic user is at all. He's just a physical fighter who looks and acts like a magic user. He's
That's
like a
pretty
muscle
funny.
mage. It's hilarious. You
Uh,
find weird random characters, and it's cool.
I just wanted to point this out because I don't have the history with Suikoden
Yeah.
that you do, obviously, so I didn't really pick up on this, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's like you talking about like the loop of like finding recruitable characters and going to your like home base, and you having that like fortune teller that you can pay to get hints, and then that leads you on like quests all over the world. That sounds just like Chained Echoes. And I'm like,
I bet Chained
wondering,
Echoes probably had Suikoden stuff in it. That's the
yeah.
thing.
So Chained Echoes must have been taking inspiration from Suikoden,
Yeah.
which is not surprising because
Well, from what I understand is that game like took ideas from like a bunch of really beloved JRPGs. So I'm not surprised
Suikoden
they had
being
some
one of them,
Suikoden
obviously.
stuff in there.
I thought it was cool,
kinda cool.
to figure out the source of that.
And maybe I mentioned it last week, but to me, and Suikoden games didn't do this before, where and I mentioned it last week, where sometimes you recruit these characters and they're not really tied to the main story, and they don't really they don't show up in story events in like Suikoden games, not really. But here, your party is always standing around in like event scenes, and sometimes, and what's crazy is that I have access to so many characters. I think there's over like 100 characters, and I think over 70 of them are actually battle characters. And so, you're rolling with so many characters because you also have support characters. You have the attendant characters, which are great because I have both. I always put my required story characters that I don't actually want to use, for whatever reason, like just in the attendant spot, and I never have to use them in battle, which is great. Um, I just like when a game does that, but it's great because they'll occasionally just have a line. They'll have a line, a completely unrelated story character will just chime in during a scene, and it's a voiced line. And the game has the game had no idea you were going to bring that random character who's like not even who's not even required. Most of the characters that you can recruit in a Suikoden game are optional. Like most of them, it is easy to like never recruit certain characters. So the fact that like I recruited a chef, right? Who can like make food for me in my town, my castle town, and like a rival chef came in and was talking shit about his cooking. He's like, your cooking fucking sucks. And I knew immediately that this was setting up the Iron Chef cooking mini game, which they had in Suikoden 2. And I knew that this game was going to have it as well. Also, a lot of cool mini games in this game. including a card game. It's no Queen's Blood, but it's pretty cool, you know. And there's a Beyblade top spinning game as well, and it's hilarious. The side quest tied to that, but whatever. Anyways,
So
this character who remember I told you I recruited some like healer mage who's like very soft spoken and quiet, and but then she'll occasionally be like, "Oh, fucking rip your head off." She doesn't say fucking, but like she gets really, her voice changes and she like screams at people. Anyways,
She gets real
she
intense.
chimed in on this moment, this little, not even a main story moment. It was just like this moment with these chefs battling, and she was like, "Oh, cut off your fingers and make a sausage stew." She just chimed in with this line. This character didn't even have to be there, but it was a line that was written and voice recorded just for like this moment that maybe if you had this character with you, well, she's gonna say it now. And I'm like, that was so cool. I had this moment that a lot of people aren't gonna see if they didn't necessarily weren't using this character at the time. And I love that the game is doing that because it was like a thing that really almost never happened in the originals.
so
So it's great. I really am enjoying that
so two
because they
questions.
almost feel like Easter eggs. Go ahead, Chris Davis.
Okay, two questions. Number one, to that question of having these side characters pop in dialogue every now and then.
And it's
How
rare. It's rare, but when it happens,
it's
it's a
rare.
fucking treat. Yeah, it's
Okay.
rare
Do they
because it
elicit
has to be.
do they elicit appropriate responses? Like, are there
Yeah, that's what I'm
pre-programmed
saying. That's what I'm
responses
saying.
per
Like
character?
this line that was written and performed by this voice actor is not a line that could have been delivered by any other character. It was like specifically a line that this gimmick of a character delivered. Like I said, that Hooks from Police Academy, if that reference makes, I mean, Crispy knew what I was talking about, but that's fine.
That's not
um,
surprising.
um, yeah, no, it was like specifically a character for her. Now, there's occasionally something that rings a little like generic or whatever, but again, these are voiced lines. They literally just recorded a lot of audio just in case you had certain characters in certain moments, and that's cool because they didn't have to do that. And
Well, no,
and
what
again,
that's
it's almost like a little special Easter egg because when you hear one, you're like, oh, that's nice. Most people aren't even going to hear that, and sometimes it's like a really cool, memorable line like with like Francesca at this cooking minigame moment. It was cool.
that's not quite
But
what I'm asking. Is what I'm saying.
oh
What I'm asking is, like, in these scenarios where you have the side character spit out a line or something like that, does the character they're talking to have a unique response to them?
oh I mean, they're just written in such a way that it's more just like chime in dialogue anyways. It's not like this
Okay.
isn't a fucking AI written game. I mean, they're not really
No.
gonna.
I'm not saying that.
It's
I'm just
it's
thinking of like
it's
how
I
deep
see what you're
their
saying.
narrative crafting went with their script writing.
I mean they do respond to that line, but it's more of just it's not. I mean, this ain't
like
Disco
the
Elysium or
responding
anything.
dialogue is probably written in such a way that their response could be in reference to any number of other characters'
Yeah.
comments.
I mean, it's possible that like if you didn't have that character, maybe that line didn't exist in any form. Like maybe nobody delivered that line. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why it feels like an Easter egg because these are voiced lines. It's actually kind of crazy. There's 100+ voiced characters in your army. It's wild. Um, but yeah, like I said, it's just really addictive, and it reminded me that like Suikoden wasn't just a nice JRPG. Like it was doing things that other JRPGs didn't do. So like even though it didn't have the budget of a Final Fantasy game, like the only ones Nick played back then, and still, he
Fuck
finished a
off.
Persona game. He finished a Persona
I've played Chrono Cross a bunch.
game. Okay, not helping your
So
case. But yeah,
I
Chrono Cross, the pretty big budget
Legend of
SquareSoft
Dragoon,
RPGs, that's
baby.
fine. The big budget ones that
Do I not get any
were
points
three
for
with
Legend of?
3D graphics or whatever, and then Suikoden over here, try doing their best with sprites, right?
You
But
just
at the
got to
same time,
realize
it's like these weren't just good JRPGs; they were unique JRPGs, and
you just gotta
I've
you
been
gotta
reminded of
come
that.
to terms with the fact that like I didn't even start playing video games until we were well past that generation,
No, I know,
that
I know,
era
I know.
of RPG.
But you remember like and people like this game came out and the reviews are like what is it, like a 77 or whatever, and like people are like, oh, that's disappointing, but like that's literally how this series has almost always been scored. It just is. It is. This is a high 70s series.
It's mid.
Well, so it's that's what the dumbasses who played games with pretty graphics, in the PlayStation 1 era thought, right? Which is, how critics kind of are. Critics are going to score Stellar Blade better than Rise of the Ronin because you don't look at the graphics
Hey,
and get
you haven't
sad,
played Stellar
which you
Blade,
do.
and
I know what that
also,
game fucking looks like, and I know what Rise
but
of the
it's
Ronin
not
looks
that
like.
pretty.
No, but it's not like no one looks at it and goes, "Oh, this is," which you do when you play Rise of the Ronin. Sometimes you go, ugh.
I mean, I look at it and make that face, but it usually has more to do with, God, this is kind of over the top with its titillation.
No, I know, but that's a
why I
different
make
sort
that
of thing.
face.
When Stellar Blade's a pretty game. It's a pretty game, right? It's got
Sure.
nice animations. It's colorful. You were fighting
There
some
are
weird
games that
thing
have
and it
looked
was cool.
worse, yes.
Yeah, like Rise of the Ronin very often looks, and I feel like, some asshole played Vagrant Story back in the day, which is a great game, and then we're like told to review Suikoden 2 next, and I don't know if those dates line up, but you know what I'm saying. They're like, ugh, I don't know. Anyways, all this is to say that, like,
not everybody has your
no,
refined palate.
it's a good no. It's just people didn't play it back then. That's the problem. Like, I feel like if more people played Suikoden, people would have liked Suikoden because let me tell you, it's a cool fucking series, and I've just been reminded that they're unique, addictive games, and they're good in their own way. And this one, I'm still not saying like this is a Suikoden game through and through, and there's no person on the planet who loves a Suikoden game who should not play this game. It is old school, and last week I was talking a lot about more modern JRPGs, and maybe if you want to play a modern JRPG, this one doesn't feel that modern or whatever. But if you are someone who has gone back to or can play something from the PS2 era or whatever, the PS1 era, I'd say it feels maybe a little more PS2 in terms of quality of life. Like this is absolutely, like, I think, a competent game, and if you can get to the part where it does become like this fun, addictive, unique game, I think anyone could have a good time with it if they know that they play those types of games. I mean,
Right.
I saw someone in Discord the other day when we were maybe talking about this Discord. It was saying, "Oh, I don't really play much JRPG. Should I get into Eiyuden Chronicle?" Like, maybe not that person. You know what I mean? If you don't play a lot of JRPGs at all, like this one's not for you.
Probably not the best place to start.
But if you're someone who's heard of Suikoden and is like play games of that era, but didn't necessarily play that, like, I think there is a lot to be found here. Granted, it takes a little time to get there, and I have to admit, not everyone people would bounce off if they don't give it, like, it requires some commitment to get to the point where it gets exciting. But man, it
sounds like you're on an upward trajectory with this game.
I mean,
a steady, slow upward trajectory.
Yeah, I'm liking it the more I play it, which is not surprising, honestly. I mean, I think that's the trajectory for almost all of these games, but also a lot of JRPGs, especially of the era. It's just, I'm really this reminds me of kind of how I felt about Bloodstained. I went into Bloodstained very like hesitant, Ritual of the Night, like, oh, I love Castlevania, you can't just do that again. I was mistrusting of a Kickstarter with a thrown together team, are they really going to capture it? But like and even when I first started Bloodstained, I remember playing like demos of it and going, I don't know about this, y'all. I don't know. But like the more I played it, I'm like, no, this is 100% Igavania through and through, and everything that I like about those games is here. Like, they understood the assignment and they nailed it. And the more I play this game, I'm now like almost 40 hours, which is like more than I've played of Rebirth or even Dragon's Dogma 2 at this point, and I think as a testament to just me being really addicted to this, I think, is I'm realizing that they understood the assignment and they fucking nailed it. They really did.
That's the important thing at the end of the day, right? Especially for a Kickstarter.
I still want them to, like, there's still some big things like tech wise and stuff, some issues with the resolution on PS5 and some overheating on the Xbox. And I still want my dialogue fixed. I still think it's crazy I can't switch between auto dialogue and press to advanced dialogue, and you can't pause it. Let me tell you, I stream this sometimes to Steam Deck via Moonlight, and I can't pause it. And I can't just turn off my Steam Deck because that doesn't pause the game. It's still playing on my PC. I literally can't stop a dialogue sequence if I have it set to auto. But I do that sometimes because I'm like doing stuff around the house. Like I'll get to a story sequence, a long story sequence, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to start picking up fucking toys that my children threw everywhere while I'm watching and listening to this cutscene. So I need that auto advance, but the fact that I cannot pause it or stop it after that starts is
that
insane.
still seems crazy. This still seems bananas to me.
Please patch it. But yeah, I love it. You know, it's Suikoden. I love Suikoden. I'm glad I'm reminded I love these games that I knew I loved. I guess that's weird.
Nice reminder.
Yeah,
from time to time.
And I'm sure y'all are thinking, of course you love it, you loser,
idiots.
But yeah,
so here's my question
fans
to
of
you,
JRPGs.
Brad, from your educated Suikoden perspective.
Sure.
I've been planning on picking up that Suikoden HD collection when it comes out eventually.
Wait a minute.
What?
No,
I heard rumblings.
I know you. Your history with Yakuza. If you should start, dude, trust me. Start with Suikoden 4 and don't listen to advice from any Suikoden fan. Just say, I'm going to start with 4. That's the one I want to start with. I'm starting with 4.
Are you being legitimate or are you fucking with me here?
No, just trust me.
The world may never know.
I mean, I actually do own Suikoden 3. So
I like 3.
I've heard 3 is the best of the PS2 games.
4 is the one you want to start with. Ask any Suikoden fan. In fact, just tell them you're starting with 4 and you won't listen to any other opinions.
I feel like this is a big trap.
It's a trap.
Anyways, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So you do what you will, Chris Davis.
There's not a lot of Suikoden. I was gonna say, like, ask the droves of Suikoden fans in our community. Look, we're a small fan base.
There's dozens of us.
I'm just trying to get educated.
He was in the game, by the way. He's like he's you know, he's like wearing a turban. They made him like a, you know, I don't know if they like went to all these backers. Well, no, he told me that they sent him an NPC and it was like a redheaded white guy. And Pocap was like, not really me. So I think they fixed him up a little, but I think that character sprite is still the same. And you talk to his character and he says something about, hey, you should, because there's a trading system in the game where you buy low and sell high, like across all the parts of the world, you know, that sort of thing to make money. And he gave some advice about trading across the seas, and that's his line. And I don't know how high the backer reward was, but it's cool. You know, that's fine. It's less egregious than, you know, that backer portrait that was like really detailed, and the dude was wearing like a collared shirt in my, you know, Suikoden game, which feels
about
wrong.
Taking you out of the experience.
Not just that, and this is the last thing. I do want to mention
this character in my fantasy game wearing a polo shirt.
It is hilarious, dude. There is again, it's another byproduct of the fact that this was a Kickstarter with certain stretch goals or certain tiers. One of the tiers that was much lower, and I think it was much easier to reach, was have your pet in the game, because any town you go into, there are fucking dogs and cats everywhere. They're everywhere. You go into houses and shit and there's dogs and cats. Like, why is there so many animals? And it's because they did this fucking tier, like a relative. They should have made it a higher tier, because now it's just strange. There's so many house animals everywhere. It's so weird.
I mean,
it's not like there's talk about like cool animals. There's dogs and cats, mostly cats and birds. Because I don't know, nerds have cats, I guess. I don't know. There's so many cats everywhere.
How dare you?
Like you want to talk about like a proper implementation of like putting backers in a game? Look at Sea of Stars. The crypt for backers in there is insane. The quality they put into it.
It's very cool.
Sea of Stars with the completionist in there. Yeah. Great backer stuff there. Has the completionist in there.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
What? Yeah.
You know, okay, never mind. Look it up.
I don't want to now.
No, what?
Don't spoil this game for me.
What? I don't think he's trying to do
spoil
that.
Sea of Stars for you? I think they took him out of the game. Don't worry. I think they took him out of the game. He got removed. Don't worry. But he was a big part of like promoting the game and stuff on his scam charity. You heard about him, the YouTuber who was stealing money from all his charities. He was a big fan of this game. He was promoting this game, and he's an NPC in the game. And I think he even a line in there that the line that he says is very not good. You should look him up. The completionist, what's his name? Gerard Depardieu. I don't know what his last name is.
But he was removed. It looks like that confirmed. He was removed.
Okay.
All right.
He kept the money. Or no, he donated the money
to himself.
All right. Let's move right along here. We would normally talk about Fantasy Critic here. I don't know if there's no updates. We didn't have any new bids or pickups in the past week, but I'll tell you what. A
lot of shit coming out.
Indica reviews drop tomorrow morning. We're gonna find out if I fucked up.
The fact that it has a review embargo is a good sign, right?
Yeah, possibly. Tomorrow, I think it lifts at 9 a.m. our time, Central Time.
I hope it's not like a 73. I really do, but
I'll be happy if it hits 80.
You are taking a fucking risk.
I'll be happy if it gets me 10 points.
I don't want to say it's a shame, but when I look at these lists, I think you're maybe in some of the best shape in the whole group. So I hope it's not an L for you.
Indica is definitely the biggest risk I've taken so far. Maybe. But I do genuinely have faith in that product, and I think it has enough really cool.
There wasn't much to the demo. Like it doesn't really speak to like what that whole project is. I don't think.
We're gonna find out. It's too late now. We're gonna find out.
I hope it's a dub for you. I warned you. I did what I could. I was trying to be helpful.
I know you warned me.
I hope if it is like a big win for you, I hope you don't think that.
I don't think it's gonna be a big win. I think it's gonna be
make you get rid of a game that I thought would be good, because that's not my intention. My intention was helping you out.
No. I get it. I'm trying to balance making strategic choices, smart choices with a few serious from the heart picks, because I do have.
I'm still mad you got laser eyes. I really wanted laser eyes.
Fuck, I'm really happy.
And I'm still shocked no one wanted Heist 2. That's like the safest of the safe. Are y'all crazy?
They did a sale this week for the Steam Heist franchise on Steam. I picked up Steam Heist 1.
You never played Heist 1?
No. I got it for like $1. And I also got the Steam World, the RPG, the Gilgamesh or whatever the hell it's called. I got
that one was cool.
$3.
I wasn't as big
I spent like $5 and got 3 Steam World games. So
I think I was just really like Slay the Spire pilled when that came out, and I was like, how dare them rip off Slay the Spire or whatever they were doing.
Anyways, it was
there's a lot of games coming out. It's not just Indica. Like May is crazy for us for Fantasy Critics, so we'll see. Animal Well is a big one that's coming out. We'll probably see.
Whose list is that on? That's soon. On Carlos's?
Yeah, Carlos. I think like I said, I think that's going to be a big deal game. Braid Anniversary, Lorelei, Hellblade 2, Paper Mario.
Oh, Hellblade 2 is next month.
All that is May. It's
Wait,
crazy.
Is 9 Souls coming out next month?
Mm-hmm. End of May. Wait, you don't have it though.
No, but I want it. I want to play it. I want to play that game.
Trade for it. Maybe this is something. I was trying to get Animal Well from Carlos. I offered a trade. I offered to trade. I actually offered to trade Paper Mario. That's how much I have faith in Animal Well, and he said no. Yeah. He said he wanted Braid, and I can't do it.
You weren't about
I
to
think
let
Braid
him have
Anniversary is like such an easy, safe bet. It's not worth it. It's close. Because I really do believe in Animal Well, but I think it would be dumb. I feel like Braid's a huge, easy dub, especially because they're doing all these new puzzles, all this new commentary and stuff. And, Braid's a classic. I mean, it's like it's not a dated puzzle platformer, but it feels like a pretty straightforward puzzle platformer. But I was kind of watching some footage. I almost started playing it again. And there's some neat ideas in there. There's some
Braid
neat
is
ideas.
Braid is
Braid
one of
is
those
a cool ass game.
Braid is a sick ass game. I want to play the remaster if not for no other reason than trying the new
Not a
levels.
remaster, anniversary edition. It's a partial
Anniversary
remake,
edition.
Look,
whatever.
I heard there's a ton of new fucking puzzles, and if you remember, Braid also had some like puzzles that were like, people on the internet were talking about how to.
Here's the
figure
thing:
this
if
shit
I
out.
go back and
stand on that cloud for 2 hours, the stars. Remember the hidden stars?
Yes. If I go back and play Braid Anniversary Edition, I don't unless they make it very painfully clear. I'm gonna have no idea if I'm playing a new puzzle or an old puzzle.
I promise you. I was watching like footage of puzzles. It was a video about Braid, kind of reviewed from a more like a couple of years ago. Just kind of wanted to see a modern take on Braid, and they were like, "Oh, this game is fucking sick," and they were showing off puzzles, and like I feel like I remembered them. Like they're very like I have very vivid memories of Braid puzzles, and I'm like, dude, that shit is cool. And I bet as you start playing it again, you'll remember some of that stuff. But see,
some of it, yeah.
You got to think though. Braid might be like a pretty simple game, but you got to think. Wait, this is not just Braid. This is Braid with a whole bunch of more puzzles from the dude who made The Witness. It's the same dude, obviously, right?
But you
think about it. You're like, oh, this dude is way more out there than I thought. Well,
he always thinks outside the box
in terms of puzzle design. Also, maybe in terms of other more controversial things. But we don't have to care about that Jonathan Blow. We were remember, Nick. I don't know if you remember. David remembers. We were probably dumping on Jonathan Blow before anybody.
Oh yeah,
planet.
What? Because of the doll?
he no-showed a panel that we were really excited about, and we were like, "Fuck this dude!" It started as a joke, but turns out he did suck. So the joke was real. Joke becomes reality. I don't know.
Yep.
You think he ever puts out another game?
World of what?
Jonathan Blow?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He's not
just saying.
fish.
It's been 8 years.
Why would he
since
stop making games?
All right.
Huh?
Let's wrap up the show, guys. 4-player minute. Final thoughts.
Wait. No, before you start that, Bog Noise in chat said my biggest fear. He recorded so much commentary for the Braid Anniversary Edition.
Oh no.
Bog Noise in chat says, I wonder if he will go mask off in the commentary. Look, I don't think it's gonna happen, but it fucking could.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't remember the specifics of what Jonathan Blow is like. The controversial.
Google it.
Is he like a?
It's a list.
A list. Oh fuck me.
He's got opinions on women, vaccines. Let me tell you. Yeah, he's not a no one's hero.
He's a dummy. Okay.
All right. Yeah. What else we got? Oh,
we got final thoughts. It's 4-player minute time. Yeah.
Somebody else go first.
Oh god damn it, Chris Davis. Why don't you go first?
Okay, hang on. Let me write down the time index here. Okay.
You don't have to.
I guess my final thought is I am dismayed at my horrible mistake I've done with Baldur's Gate 3. I'm really hoping I actually play through it really quickly so I can move on to other things and actually be fucking productive. Special shout out.
You would feel productive if you weren't mirroring the exact same playthrough that you made the first time.
I'm picking up things that I didn't get to do the first time that I completely missed. So that feels refreshing to me. Shout out to the management team over at the Microsoft store for all their movies and TV shows. They fucked up last night. They fucked up real bad. The entire collection of Bond movies in HD was available as a bundle for $5. So I jumped on that.
Physical or digital?
Digital. But hey, $5 for like 25, 26 movies? Sure. Great. That's awesome. A sweat I would list real quick is the Square Enix fiscal report. That came out because the fiscal quarter ended this month. They said that they have projected a loss of 22 billion yen, which is $140 million US, due to, quote...
Sorry, who is this?
Square Enix.
They
projected a loss of 22 billion yen because of content disposal. And what that means is canceled projects. Evidently, they've been public about restructuring and reprioritizing budgeting for projects. But evidently, they've lost $140 million because they have canceled a bunch of games. And
some of them were called out as HD remasters, remakes. The thing is, we knew about a couple of these projects, right? We knew about Final Fantasy Tactics. We knew about Final Fantasy 9. What if those were the ones on the chopping block? That's fucking kill me.
Yeah, definitely.
What about Suikoden 1 and 2 remakes? Are those?
That's not Square Enix. That's Konami.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah. No, I put a Final Fantasy Tactics remake. I mean, come on, I need that so badly.
There is.
Would they kill something like that? Really? They would not kill something like that.
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know.
I mean,
Final Fantasy 9. I've heard. I think the latest rumor on Final Fantasy 9 is that like, this is not low effort, but like don't go expecting the world with this Final Fantasy 9 remake.
It's not a 7 scale remake. Yeah.
I don't want
not even close. No.
I don't want Final Fantasy 9 remade in the spirit of Final
Fantasy 7. There's a gulf
7.
between what it could be and the Final Fantasy 7 remake. Come on. I'm saying like, I think it might be closer to like, Final Fantasy 8 on the Switch, kind of. I mean, or 9. Well, no, 9
got ported to Switch already. Like those are straight up.
Like I'm saying, like
remasters.
Perspective wise, I'm saying like it's still. I think it would still maintain.
I would rather the Final Fantasy 9 remake end up looking more like those. What's that studio that made like the kind of isometric
games? Just say Octopath.
No.
Maybe those games.
This God damn it! The studio that made like the Setsuna what is it?
Yeah. Tokyo RPG Factory.
Like the Tokyo RPG Factory. If they remade Final Fantasy 9 in that kind of style,
but that's ugly. I'm saying they should make it more like Octopath, right? I think that would be a good look. HD 2D.
Well, I mean,
I don't even want that. Just upscale the models, make enhance the backgrounds, and just fucking release it.
Shut up.
Make it 16:9.
That's a remaster. No.
They did that actually.
I want all new assets, but I don't think they have to be like photorealistic. They just need to give it a new kind of updated art style that's isometric like it's always been. And I don't know, it's just it doesn't need to be
Live Alive. I think it should be more
that would require them to remake it into like pixel sprites, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it is pixel sprites.
No. It's not what I mean, maybe you're right. I've just never seen them.
It's pixel sprites on pre-rendered background. So,
but my point is, I've never seen them apply that kind of HD 2D style to something that's what's the word? Like all the games they've done that to so far have been games that are more akin to like
they're not polygonal characters. I see what you're saying.
Yes. Which maybe that's neither here nor there. Maybe that could still very well be applied. Who knows? But
I'm just thinking, like, because of this fiscal announcement, I think that any project that is not Final Fantasy in name is potentially endangered. But more importantly, like, we're gonna stop seeing a diverse lineup of RPGs and stuff from them. Like, we're not going to get another Live Alive or Tactics Ogre Reborn or Harvest Dahlia or just a bunch of stuff.
That might be true.
I mean, that could be true, but
I would love a Xenogears HD 2D. My God.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that.
That's a game you could fix, though.
I think they're taking a model approach from Capcom and adapting it for themselves, in which they prioritize on very select, very profitable IP and just building off of those.
But but the difference is also in the news is that Rebirth is underperforming.
Yeah.
So that's not paying off for them.
Well, and it's disappointing the fuck out of them. Yeah. Heaven forbid you maybe not launch on just one platform.
But also,
I don't think that's the problem necessarily. I think the problem is that Final Fantasy just doesn't mean what it used to mean.
It doesn't have the same.
It's not a big franchise.
It's lost some of its luster over the years.
It's not a major franchise anymore. It used to be. It's not. It just isn't.
I mean, I feel like
Anyways,
it could get there, but
I don't think so. I mean, the best-selling game in the series is what, Final Fantasy 15, but like 16 disappointed in sales. Remake was fine, but it's not like didn't set the world on fire. And then Rebirth is selling less than Remake. You know?
I mean, let's be real here. The golden age of Final Fantasy was probably the PS1 era. I just don't.
Well, yeah,
probably the PS2 era.
Well, PS1
I mean, the
PS2
only had 2 core entries in the series. That's the only reason I said PS1 over
PS1 had 3, and Super Nintendo had 3. Like, and all of them, they're all good. It's
varying degrees of good.
10, 2, 11, and 12.
Nick, I'm sorry, but Final Fantasy 6 on the Super Nintendo, Final Fantasy 10 on the PS2, they're both better than Final Fantasy 9. Fuck Final Fantasy 9.
First of all, I'm not sitting here alluding to Final Fantasy 9. I know Final Fantasy 9.
8 sucks.
No, I don't think 8 sucks. Final Fantasy 9 is my Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite, but let's be real. Final Fantasy 7 was the king of the PS1 era Final Fantasy games. So like I don't have any qualms or misgivings about that. That is just fact. So whatever. We've speculated long enough. Let's move on. Brad, are you ready to do your final thought?
Oh. No, you go first, Nick.
God damn, I always go last. Okay, my final thought. It's been a productive week. Maybe to the detriment of my progress in Stellar Blade, I buckled down and I finished Dragon's Dogma 2. Really? Count them. That's 2 Japanese games so far that I've finished in the year 2024.
So
I don't
remember
how many.
Nick.
I don't remember. Is it 2 points that I get for Dragon's Dogma?
I made you an offer. It was kind of like a man up offer.
No, you made an offer because you were starting to get nervous.
No,
You're gonna lose this bet.
No. The spirit of the bet. The whole thing about you in Japanese games is that like you hate them all, but you'll play any Final Fantasy, even a shitty 13 series. You know, like, and it's weird, right? It's like this man can't finish a Persona game, and this is before, but he'll finish 13 too, right?
But you're also saying this, and I'm still at 40 hours into Rebirth.
But you're gonna finish Rebirth, and it's only 1 point. I'm saying, do you really need that 1 point for a Final Fantasy game? I feel like it's against the spirit of the bet.
If we get to the end of the year,
have even included a Final Fantasy game,
Brad. Here's the deal: if we get to the end of the year, and I am going to satisfy the obligations of the bet, and I only have 10 points, and one of those points is Final Fantasy Rebirth, you can take that point away from me.
Okay.
But if I'm sitting,
that's all I'm saying.
If I'm sitting at pretty at like 12 or 13 points by the end of the year,
because 13 points to say. I'm a little worried about you and Rise of the Ronin at this point. I gotta be honest with you.
I mean, I wouldn't even say Rise of the Ronin is a priority.
Wow. Tsushima, though, on the other hand, as long as it's a Japanese setting developed in the West, then you're on board.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, let me get back to my final thought. I finished Dragon's Dogma 2, and when I say finished, I did the whole shebang. I got the true ending, did the crazy shit that happens at the end.
You did all your Sphinx stuff?
I didn't do all the Sphinx stuff because I didn't realize at some point you lock yourself out of that. But I did the hardest one, which was find the place where you found your first token.
I mean, that's not the hardest one. It's just.
But also, I looked up the rewards for doing some of those things. And I was like, this is an awful lot of work for not a lot of reward. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I finished Dragon's Dogma 2. Great fucking game.
How many hours
the photo mode, but still managed to get a lot of mileage out of it. I finished the game at about 63 hours, I think, was my final time.
Okay. All right.
And I fully like capped out like 4 or 5 different vocations. I finished on the what do you call it? The mystical spear hand or whatever.
I knew it.
I heard people talking trash about the trickster thing, so I didn't even try it. But
the trickster sucks.
But yeah, the only one I kind of regret is I didn't have a chance to really try the magic archer. Because I got it so late, and by the time I got there, I was like, well, there's no point. I don't want to I'm in the end game. I don't want to suddenly switch to a level 1 vocation at this point. So But yeah, I think Dragon's Dogma 2 is a phenomenal fucking video game. And but it's also strange because it retroactively, like, it's just looking at it, it's like, God, they kind of made the same game. Like, it has like all the problems that the first game had kind of still exist here.
That's what I've been saying since the start. The
I mean,
game
but
didn't change, we did.
I know. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, but at the end of the day, like, it's still a great game, and I think I enjoyed like kind of like the story and how everything kind of plays out more this time around. But yeah, it's a really cool fucking video game. On on a smaller note, like I mentioned earlier, we finished watching Fallout. Um, Great series. We both had a really great time watching the finale. We're both fully on board and excited for season 2. That's really great.
Nice
So
little
my
surprise.
wife just wrapped up a like 100-hour playthrough of Fallout 3, and she's about to start New Vegas. And I booted up Fallout 4 because I've never finished that game. And I started playing it on Steam Deck because they just pushed that update, the next gen update or whatever on PC. Runs great now. It used to be like, I think it used to be labeled as playable on Steam Deck. Now it is officially verified. Runs like a dream. And yeah, I'm really excited to kind of jump back into Fallout. It's scratching that itch, and I wanted to make sure I started playing it kind of right now when my Fallout hype level is kind of maxed out. So that's the only reason I kind of prioritized that and started it up. But yeah, that's it. I'm looking forward to May because there's a lot of cool stuff on the horizon in May. But I'm also enjoying the stuff. I'm enjoying Stellar Blade more than I thought I was going to. I'm excited to play Fallout. I fucking finished BioShock 1, my replay of BioShock 1.
How was that?
It's good. It's good. I've been most excited to maybe play BioShock 2 because it's the one I think I remember the least of. And I want to play Minerva's Den again because obviously I remember that being amazing, but I could not tell you a single goddamn thing about Minerva's Den other than I remember it being amazing. So I'm looking forward to playing those, but that's kind of back burner stuff. So yep, that's where I'm at. Your turn, Brad.
That and that Minerva's Den was written and directed by a piece of shit, apparently.
Oh God, who?
Sorry.
Oh, the same guy who did Fallout New Vegas, isn't it?
No, it's the guy who did Gone Home.
Oh, really?
Wait, what?
He's a piece of shit?
Oh shit! You don't know.
At this point, I'm just assuming most people are pieces of shit, and we just don't know about it.
Yeah,
which is a really cynical worldview, I suppose. But that's kind of where I'm at.
That's okay. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's whatever.
Steve Gaynor.
Because no one said anything.
Okay.
Steve Gaynor, yeah. By the way, their game came out and it got like pretty shit scores. What's it called? Fulbright. What's the Fulbright game?
Fulbright.
Kerry Russell.
Open Roads.
Kerry Russell game.
Oh,
Open Roads. Yeah,
Open Roads.
And got
Yeah.
shit scores. He's the one who was outed as being like a piece of shit, but he didn't leave the team. He just sort of like took a step back, and I think he was still working on it. I don't know if I don't think he's still at the company anymore, but I'm pretty sure he finished work on that project. I don't actually know. Anyways, it's actually kind of a shame because I like Gone Home, and Tacoma was kind of cool, and I hate to see their next
How does
project.
a piece of shit make something like Gone Home? Oh, sorry.
Let me tell you, Nick, because it's the libs. They're the ones you got to watch out for, Nick. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Some people just suck. That's all. Some people.
A lot of them, apparently. And
he's still at the studio. Oh, it's only plump. Oh, so everybody else left.
Damn,
oh, wow, really?
He's a one-man team, and he's just a piece of shit.
He's just probably farmed out all the
work
after that. Wow.
All right, what's your final thought, Brad? Besides ruining
my final thought on this tiny podcast.
Yeah, we're almost 2 hours. Don't stretch this out, bitch.
No, I just looked at it. I'm not thinking. Oh,
I didn't even take a break because I figured we would be done sooner, but now we've just gone on forever.
I know. Anyways, all right, Gonzalo. That's not what I was saying. Shut up. Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. So this was the stretch goal game that came out before Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. I don't know if you're familiar with this game. It didn't get like amazing scores. I think it's like a 73 on Metacritic or whatever, which is better than I thought it would be, actually. And I've played very little of this game. Now, this was like a stretch goal game made by like some other same developer. I don't actually know. A little side game, and this one's kind of like a side-scrolling action game, kind of a fetch questy side-scrolling action RPG. Really, nothing like Suikoden or 100 Heroes, but it is that universe and it is those characters. And I've run into like I've started to run into characters from this game, like the main characters from this game, because we knew they were going to be in here. They're not main characters in 100 Heroes, but they are like recruitable characters, and it was cool because I one of the characters, so that this won't take long. One of the major complaints about Eiyuden Chronicles Rising is that like it's just a game of endless fetch quests. Like the combat is shallow but fun, but really it's the personality that sort of like people liked about that game, and the writing was kind of nice. But like you do like these fetch quests like over and over and over again, and they're just like random bullshit. And that was one of the major flaws of that game. And you get this character, and you run into this character, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to recruit this character. And she's like, and she keeps interrupting me when I'm trying to recruit her to a mission, and she keeps sending me on like the most mindless like bullshit fetch quests. And I and I go back to her. I'm like, all right, I killed your fucking 3 boars or whatever. Now can you join my army? And she keeps cutting me off and giving me another like boring fetch quest. And I'm like, it's clever. They're making fun of their like quote unquote cheap game that came out like before 100 Heroes with this character, and she's giving me stamps. The whole thing was like you get a stamp for doing all these little fetch quests and Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, and I thought that was a really clever throwback to the main flaw of that last game, and they sort of made it this character's gimmick. She gives you stamp for doing really boring fetch quests to recruit her. I thought that was really funny. But anyways, I didn't really love what I played of Rising, which granted was very little. Um, but now that I'm like full in on 100 Heroes and I'm loving it, and I'm loving a lot of these characters, and I'm loving characters from Rising, I'm probably going to go back and play Rising finally now. It's a
Get a little bit
universe
more out
that
of it
I
now.
didn't care about before because I knew I wouldn't care about it until 100 Heroes came out. And guess what? Now I care about the characters and the story and the world. So I'm totally going to go back and play this thing actually. That's kind of excited. Anyways,
Nice.
that's my final thought.
All
Eiyuden
right.
Chronicle Rising.
And with that, we've reached the end of this really short, disorganized, chaotic,
67
great,
minutes, by the way. I'm looking up on my Steam
great
Deck. I played
podcast.
67 minutes of Rising.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
While we were doing the podcast. Okay.
But anyways, yeah, that's it. We've reached the end, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not in our Discord, please know that we have a Discord, and it's the beating heart of our community. We'd love to have you. It's at discord.gg/4player. You can also find that link on our website at 4playernetwork.com. If you're new, make sure you stop in, say hello, introduce yourself, tell us what you're playing in the introductions channel. I always love to hear from people. Yeah. Next week, we'll be back on next Tuesday night to talk about video games again. Tune in 8 p.m. Central Time for another Trailer Talk Live pre-show. These are fun. Let us know if you're enjoying them. And in the meantime, guys, be good to each other, play video games, and good night.